Hey everybody, this is BJ Murphy with Magic Mile Media, and I am excited to have with me Dr. Lane Freeman. And your title was so long, but it was Director of Online Instruction for the North Carolina Community College System. How long have you been doing that?
A little over 3 years. I started it as a new position at the office because we saw the importance of emphasis on instruction in the online world,
And Dr. Freeman, we're at Lenore Community College. We're right outside the Briley Auditorium, and he was giving a talk to the faculty and staff here at Lenore Community College about AI and what's happening in the world, especially as it relates to education, of course. And so I thought it was a great opportunity to sit down because Dr. Freeman is going to be one of our speakers at our SMS 2025 Summit coming up on Friday, January 31st. And I wanted to just kind of have a chat since you were here about, why is the evolution of AI so important, in this case in education, but we'll think a little bit more broader as other industries, business, marketing, communications, et cetera.
Well, I think it's important because the GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers, but I think it also could stand for a general purpose tool. Just like the internet's a general purpose tool, the computer's a general purpose tool. The issue with those, it took a long time for the infrastructure to get in place.
Right.
So you had to have broadband lines laid, or the computers were expensive. When AI came on the scene in 2022, this version of AI, everybody had it. 167 countries had it. You could pull up your phone and download an app and have access to one of the most advanced technologies. And so it's really revolutionary in how people have access to information. And in education, it's a strange world. It's different than in the industry. Industry really wants the output of a really good quality product. The education world, we have to make sure our students are prepared to go in that industry to know what questions to ask AI. And so a student could theoretically go through a class just using AI and not really learn anything.
Right.
And so we're trying to find out and navigate that way of how do we ensure students are still learning, at the same time embracing AI in a way that teaches them how to be productive.
Yeah, because I know in education industry, there's this balance between they've got to learn, but it's also technology that's here to stay. And I believe what you said earlier, I've said at my own office, that if you're using an AI today, it's going to be the oldest version you'll ever use. Right. And so the technology is here to stay. And so the question is, I even sent my wife, who's working on her master's, and my daughter, who's going to start, she's a junior in high school, is going to have an LCC class this next semester, the undetectable.ai, which was a site where you can upload your copy and paste your paper, and it'll tell you if AI models will flag it,
right.
And even humanize it. Just an interesting tool. But one thing you did say is that the question I guess I had for you was, why should we encourage students to use AI to take notes?
Yeah, so the note-taking process is really important in the classroom. I think you wouldn't find any instructor who doesn't say that. You took notes during this presentation, right? It's because you don't know what you think until you can write it down. And so copying the notes from a presentation is always just the first step, but summarizing those notes is the next step in it, taking it and putting your own words and putting it down. The next step that I've added is using your notes to align with your career aspirations or your likes and interests along with those notes, because our brains want to make a connection to what we've learned in the past. AI is phenomenal at making connection with what seems to be two different topics and mesh them together.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a fast evolving field. We discussed, there's Aletha who works in the office. She loves music. She loves everything about music and what it means to her. She likes the old country, so we talked about how AI is going to even revolutionize the music industry itself. You use something called Suno, which is a program I hadn't heard of, but every day there's another program coming out that we haven't heard of, probably thousands every week. But one thing that you did say earlier was that don't trust everything you see at the moment or everything you hear. Why do you need that warning as it relates to internet, social media, and AI?
Well, as you saw in my presentation, I'm able to create an AI avatar and give a speech. Now, if someone had access to my photos or me talking somewhere else, they could train the AI and have me say something that wasn't what I was doing. Now, they're experimenting with adding watermarks and having things around, but when someone goes on X or Facebook or something like that, they're not looking for those watermarks. And typically what they see, they don't question, they just run with it. So I think it's actually a healthy thing that people, when they see social media, even before the age of AI, to question everything they see. So when they see someone say something, go back and wait a while. Don't just retweet or repost. Take a moment, look at it, do some research. Would they really have said that? And do some research before they believe what they see. And there's a lot of ethical considerations that are going with that. The music industry, obviously is going to have some challenges, but again, it's the humanization of it. Now, I love, talking about old country, I love Hank Williams Sr., love listening to his music. It's the memories that recalls and brings up. But it would be also, I've heard songs where they took a Taylor Swift song and merged it with Johnny Cash singing it. And it's kind of funny, but still it's going to change things a bit. But again, we typically love our musicians because the songwriters wrote it from the heart, and we have a human connection with humans, and we like to know that person on stage did go through some struggles. We make that connection. AI doesn't have that human component, and so when it's written, it's fun, it can be entertaining, but there's not a deep human connection to that.
Well, and for our social media conference that we're having the Friday the 31st this month, we're going to have people in this audience that are educators. We'll have people in the audience that are a part of the finance professionals, C-suite people, CEOs, CXOs, CFOs. We'll have HR managers. We'll have entrepreneurs. We'll have people of all types, probably mostly, I would imagine, mostly white-collar jobs, white-collar professions. But one thing you said is that AI will not replace you, but somebody who uses AI will. So it's like the challenge of you've got to find ways to incorporate it in your career, in your business, because if you don't, then you will become obsolete.
Right, and I have talked to specifically small businesses, and they haven't, and that's what I appreciate about the conference that you're going to be putting on, is that they aren't aware. They've heard of AI in the news. They don't realize that it's so accessible and they can use it. But as soon as they see it, they go, "Oh my God, this could save us so much money." So, and AI will not replace you. Someone using it. If two businesses are fighting for the same market, if one business uses AI, which increases productivity by 40%, tasks completed 12% faster, that company is going to outpace the other company that's not using it.
Right.
And so you could say AI is not going to replace your business, but someone you using AI business will replace yours. It's as another way of saying that.
Right.
And actually small startup companies have a leverage right now that they're not having to compete with this AI battle. They come in with the assumption we're starting a new business using AI as a way to be more efficient and more productive. A 5 to 10 person startup can compete with a 100 person crew that's not using AI and embraced it.
Right. To me, it's just a fascinating development. When I started using ChatGPT, and I started playing with it week in and week out, the more I tested it and played with it and used it for something like for our news application, our digital news publication we've got, just writing headlines or writing a better headline or writing a better excerpt using the same content that we've already written. So it's like we own that material and we're just trying to make it a little bit better. I found that even for us, a small business, it's going to help us be faster and get better information out quicker.
Great at brainstorming. If you're trying to come up with a snazzy acronym, you can say, this is what I'm trying to do, come up with an acronym and give me 10 examples. And it gives you 10 and you'll say, well, I like 3 and 4, let's work on that, so I don't like that word. And so it's a brainstorming partner, but it's really quick. And also it doesn't take criticism. You can argue with it and it doesn't care. If you're working with a partner, sometimes you'll have some arguments. I've done that before with a group of faculty. We were designing a course, and typically 2 or 3 people dominate the conversation because nobody wants to critique those faculty. But when you bring up AI, it's brainstorming, everybody feels good with critiquing.
Well, and in closing, because I don't want to take too much of your time, you think about, you mentioned having a family safe word, and you used an example earlier about how AI can copycat people and things. It was just interesting. To me, there are still enough red flags about where we are as society and culture, and social media and how it plays out in the news as well. I'm glad to know that people are taking it very serious from, here are fun, practical ways to use it, but also you have to be very cautious in other ways. In closing, and I'll think about that one word. What's one word or one thing that you can sum up as to why people should come to a summit like this, where we're having other thought leaders, an AI ethicist, a fractional AI chief AI officer, to entrepreneurs and other people involved? That your perspective, why should business leaders come to something like that to learn from these kind of folks?
Well, you innovate, you move forward, or you perish. And I think this is a way to innovate and move forward, or you're going to be kind of left behind. And so coming to a conference like this is an opportunity to get some ideas. I never claimed to be the expert in anybody's field. I tried to do it in a broad sense where everybody can take away their content expertise or their expertise and apply it to it. And so I think a conference like this gives us an opportunity. Those nights and weekends that they're spending away from their families because they're brainstorming can now be replaced by an AI tool during the work hour weeks that allow me to spend time on more important things, or spend more time on that creative part that I really like spending time on, instead of sending out the letters and stuff that I don't enjoy looking forward to.
Right.
I can delegate some of that work to AI to do that for me.
Well, Dr. Freeman, thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate you. Looking forward to having you at our social media conference, the SMS 2025. As of course, it's smskinston.com. You can register and learn more about all the speakers and the panelists that we'll have here for that day. So thank y'all so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you on Friday the 31st.